Bet on Bears fans, another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the Designer, Shea Norling back in the building. Rookie Minicamp has come and gone. I was up there for all 3 days of it. Eric Bieniemy yelled a lot. And think pieces have come out about why that's good or bad.
I wish people would think about literally anything else. Aren't there better things to think about than whether yelling at a player is a good or bad thing for an NFL coach to do?
There's just a lot of people online that you go, oh, you've never had a coach. Like, I feel like at any point of playing sports throughout your life, you've had at least one coach that you were like, he's a little aggressive, but I get the message he's trying to send here.
I'm pretty dispirited with where social media is.
Are you?
Yeah, as a whole right now. Where the internet is as a whole right now. Yeah. Embracing certain things that I kind of thought were universally loathed. So I'm just like out on anything that comes from social media.
I feel that.
I'm out on it.
The problem is there's also articles that have been written about this as well.
I'm out on articles.
You're out on articles.
Yeah, articles.
You're done with articles.
I'm out on them. I don't want them. No, but seriously, what kind of miserable person wakes up and is like, oh, this coach is swearing at a player. Boy, that ain't gonna work. This is why sports are dying. It's like, what are we doing?
When I tell you, these are literal takes that people are having. This is why sports is dying. That's great. We got to talk about some of my biggest takeaways from Rookie Minicamp. I got some hot takes for you from Rookie Minicamp that I believe may end up happening this season, just based on the little bit that we actually got a chance to see. All that and more in today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Chicago Bears podcast is brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group. Find your next Chevy, Toyota, or Acura and drive off in under 60 minutes, or they'll make your first car payment. Also brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in northern Indiana, located 30 minutes from Soldier Field, I-80-94, exit 6. All right, Shea, Rookie Minicamp was, listen, I'll say this. It's always good to have football in front of you. And there was, in theory, footballs being thrown, people catching them, and there was an opportunity to see our rookies get their first chance at being in a Bears jersey. So that part of everything was actually pretty fun. But you can't take a ton. There's questions on pad level, pad height. Is a guy getting enough bend when he's making moves? None of that means anything at this point. But there are some things that I thought, okay, if I was to make a hot take off of this, just off of what I've seen, these are some of the ones that I would look at. The number one thing right now that I will say, and I'll start off with our own Eric Bieniemy, who was screaming. I shouldn't say screaming. He's coaching. He's yelling at the players. He's telling them, hey, don't make this mistake. Yeah. And he would not let them move on to the next drill until that was done, until you were doing it right.
Yeah.
Which I like. That's the accountability factor. This job being successful will put Eric Bieniemy back in offensive coordinator and head coaching conversations.
No. Head coach? No, never.
You probably got to start, OC.
He's never going to be a head coach in the NFL. Ever. That has come and gone. That ship has sailed. Look, man, it's what it is. He was an offensive coordinator behind Andy Reid for a long time. He was never the play caller. There were plenty of opportunities for him to become a head coach. He didn't. He became an offensive coordinator, I believe, with the Washington Commanders. Mm-hmm. Moved from there to UCLA. That didn't go very well. Now he's a running backs coach. And frankly, there's some stuff in his past that'll always come up in interviews. I'm not interested in whether it's fair or unfair. I just can't ever see being a head coach. I can't. I think the ship has sailed.
And that is what I would say about guys like Matt Nagy. That's what I would have said about guys like Josh McDaniels. But I think success changes people's perception of what the past has been. If success happens here in Chicago, especially with the type of coach he is, I think that there are programs that are looking for that, like the Bears were, the accountability factor. What I saw from Eric Bieniemy this entire weekend was we're not moving on until we get this right. And that is something that a lot of teams will look at and say, as a head coach, we need that. Especially teams that are struggling. Now, you got to get it right as an OC first. I think that's the stepping stone that really puts him back in the conversation over the head coaching spot. The Washington situation did not go well. It also doesn't help that the players came out and were like, this guy's a little aggressive. He's a little tough on us, a little hard on us. But I think the one thing that winning changes the perception of everything. If the Bears win here, I think his name is back in that situation. And if he goes out and is able to have success at that level, I think head coach is on the table for him.
Yeah, you want me to tell you that he could belly up to offensive coordinator someplace? Sure.
Yeah.
But, dude, he's 55 years old. And again,
What does that mean in the NFL anymore?
There's-
Pete Carroll's back at it.
He ain't Pete Carroll.
He's not Pete Carroll. He's not Pete Carroll.
But Pete Carroll's been a head coach at some level or another for 30 years.
And failed at a bunch of them.
Yeah, he also won a Super Bowl.
He
He won a
got back
national
to it.
championship at USC, cheating or otherwise. Oh, we got Reggie Bush's mom a house. Who cares? Pete Carroll has been successful. He's gotten multiple opportunities. I don't want to have the conversation we could have about this.
Yeah.
There's a difference between Eric Bieniemy and Josh McDaniels and Matt Nagy and Pete Carroll. You don't have to look too hard, but there is also a difference in Eric Bieniemy's
not
history
wrong.
off the field.
It's not wrong.
I can't see it happening.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not getting in the conversation of fair or unfair,
Yeah.
what he deserves and what he doesn't deserve. I don't see it happening for him.
Yeah.
Could he be an offensive coordinator somewhere? Sure. Could it be here? Maybe Declan Doyle gets hired out and you turn Eric Bieniemy into the OC here where he doesn't have to call plays and it's just kind of Kansas City all over again. But no, I don't ever. He's had how many opportunities to be an NFL head coach? And the NFL has told him no. I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. That's how I felt, though. I felt like this is the kind of guy that teams may look at and want to take something or want to give a shot to. My other hot take that I thought, and I think this one will play out this season early on, and we will never look back. Ozzy Trapilo will be the starting left tackle for the Chicago Bears. I think as we get into training camp, the one thing we saw from Ozzy that really is the only thing you really want to see at this point, how comfortable does he look? He took all his reps at left tackle. Every single rep he took at the left tackle position during rookie minicamp. That's the expectation that he'll continue to do that moving forward. I got a chance to talk to him at the press conference, and I asked him, how are you adjusting? What do you see as a hurdle? And he's like, I really don't see hurdles because I've been practicing left tackle my entire time at BC. I just didn't play it in a game, but I'm thinking so much about it. I'm thinking about all of the things that I have to do to make this position work. I'm not going into that flow state moment where it's like my brain just shuts off and I can play. So I'm actually playing this position better. When you watch Ozzy, you couldn't tell me he didn't play left tackle in college. You know how usually like early on guys are like, oh, that's something I got to do on the right side. I got to flip my brain around. Okay, I'll get that right. It looked so natural with him. And the concern was, how quickly is it going to look natural? Now, again, not going up against guys who are trying to get past him. That'll make a difference.
Sure.
But I think right now, especially with Braxton being banged up and Karan Amagaji being somebody who, a lot of question marks on him as well, I see Ozzy Trapilo being the Bears starting left tackle day one.
You were at rookie minicamp. I wasn't. So you can speak to what you saw. I can't.
Yeah.
What I would say is I've kind of felt this way all along. Like there's just, for whatever reason, been a nagging suspicion with me that Braxton Jones won't be the starting left tackle. I don't know who is, but Darnell Wright was talked about as a guy who could play both sides of the offensive line. You drafted a guy who played right tackle at BC. Now he's talking about how he's always practiced left tackle. They both have advantages, Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones, or Darnell Wright and Ozzy Trapilo, over Braxton Jones, in that Darnell Wright is much better than Braxton Jones. And Ozzy Trapilo is healthy right now and can participate in activities right now. And Braxton Jones can't. And I think that ends up coming to bite somebody.
And that's really what it is. I don't even know if it's that Ozzy Trapilo is the better left tackle day one, which I do think there's
the
a chance
available
for
left
that.
tackle.
He's the available one, and I think that he will be good enough where you go, he's done this long enough, we're not going to change this five up. And Ben Johnson has talked about that. They want to find the best five as quickly as possible.
Yep.
I think Ozzy fits into that mold. If Braxton's healthy, could I see Braxton fighting for that job? Yeah, I could. I think Braxton is going to be better next to Joe Thuney and next to an offense that says we want to get him out in space and let him run people over.
Yeah.
That's what Braxton is good at. I'm not sitting here telling you that this is the end of Braxton Jones by any means, but leaving rookie minicamp and seeing Ozzy just go through every snap and look natural and honestly be the only guy that I didn't see Dan Rashar and the assistant coach's name is blanking for me right now, but The only guy who they weren't sitting there every rep going, what the F are you doing right now? You got to get back in line. Let's do this. There were a bunch of guys that were getting that treatment.
Yeah.
Ozzy was not one of them. He was going through the motions. He was going through the plays. I'm sure there were moments where it did happen, but they were far and few between, if any. So I think that is – I think the Bears got their starting left tackle in the second round. And I'll ask you this. How does that change this draft? Colston Loveland, we have high expectations on. Luther Burden, we have high expectations on. But with those two, right, they're receivers in a loaded receiver room. If you find your starting left tackle in this draft already, is that a win of a draft?
I don't know. I'm not going to know if you won this draft until 2-3 years from now. Barring one of these guys winning Rookie of the Year, which I don't see happening, because an offensive tackle is never going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. If Quentin Nelson couldn't do it, then an offensive lineman will never win that award, and Loveland and Burden won't have the target shares. So barring that, I'm not going to be able to sit here and say, this was a beast of a draft. We'll find out in a couple years. Really, like, if you found your starting left tackle, that means you found a guy who is available when Braxton isn't throughout all of offseason camp, and beats out a guy who was a fifth-round projection who a lot of people seem to think isn't very good despite how highly thought of he is in the room. Great. Do you get a second contract? That will be when you tell me if you won this draft. Am I going into year 3 of your contract and saying, I got to extend you? That will tell me if we won. I'm not going to know by week 2. Just because he's starting?
Yeah.
There are bad players starting all over the NFL.
We have one. I don't know. We'll see. I think that if you can come out of this and definitively say you found – because the belief would be if he's starting, he's an upgrade over Braxton.
But we won't know that, is my point. An upgrade over Braxton means what? It doesn't mean you found Jordan Mailata or Tristan Wirfs or a prime Trent Williams. It means you found a guy who can hopefully play 1,000 snaps at left tackle and be serviceable. But I'm not going to know, like, what a pick by polls. I won't be able to do that until we're talking about an extension.
Yeah. I hear you on that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Eric Bieniemy, OC and head coach possibility. Ozzy Trapilo starting left tackle. Another hot take coming out of Rookie Minicamp. I'm going to give Luther Burden a position addition. Something he didn't do a ton of in college. Coming out of this and seeing him work in some of the drills, Luther Burden should be the Chicago Bears starting kick returner and punt returner day 1. And I understand he's a high pick. I understand 39th pick overall. You normally don't do that with wide receivers, but you have that luxury with DJ Moore. You have that luxury with Rome Odunze. I've got a bunch of pass catchers on this team. Also, completely different kickoff rules than when we were making the rule that high draft picks shouldn't be kick returning. Now, not only does he get to watch the ball hit his hands, he gets to watch everybody start moving a second after he starts running. He's in a great position to do this. I think he's somebody who, you mentioned it, he's not going to get a ton of the target shares, but he's somebody who I came out of this camp going, you have to find a way to get the football into his hands, otherwise you wasted the 39th overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to die on the hill of it. I don't love using a wide receiver who I think is going to be a semi-big usage player in the return game. I just think it's hits you don't need to take. And I don't buy that the return game is explosive enough that I have to put a guy back there who make plays. I think this town falls in love with it because of Hester, and this is not me insulting Devin Hester. Devin Hester's fabulous. How high impact is that really? Like, there were more returns last season, but ultimately what happened with the return rule was they're moving the touchback to the 35-yard line because they want to inspire more, like, fewer touchbacks and more returns. Because at some point last season, coaches decided we'd rather boot this out of the end zone and give you the ball at the 30 than risk a return. So now the ball comes out to the 35. So you got to get me to the 35 on every single return to be useful? I'll just give it to some special teams body to take those hits and get that abuse rather than Luther Burden. Well, it's not like how many kickoff returns for touchdowns have we seen? How many long kick returns did we see last year? It's so rare that I'm not going to and I get it's rookie minicamp and it's slow news time in the NFL. We're trying to generate some conversation. I don't know that I'd do that.
Only reason I say that is because of what you just said too, right? The 35 yards, I think there's going to be more kicks that actually end up in a guy's hands. I need a guy that can get past the 20. I need a guy that can consistent, like just throwing Tyler Scott back there, just throwing, I mean, who's a late round, Zay Flowers, if you want to throw a DB back there, but just throwing a body back there, I don't think is going to be nearly as impactful as it has been in years past because of, I think putting it at the 35 is going to be like, all right, it's actually worth it for us to kick it to this guy at the 5 because we can stop him at the 20. We can stop him at the 25, and we get basically net 10 yards in our kickoff here.
I just have a hard time. Like, I think the average return position last year was like the 29 to 30 yard line anyway.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing you're stopping anybody at the 20 with these new rules. I don't know. I think it's pretty low stakes. Punt return, I'm a little more interested. If he proves he can be explosive and cause some problems, then we can talk. But the kick return, I honest to God, I wish they'd just get rid of the play entirely.
I do agree with that. Just
give them,
and by the way,
put the ball at the 25-yard line.
And that's what I was going to say. Move it back. The kick return can die. Punts can still exist, but the kick return can die to me because you're trying to make all of these rules to basically make it an advantage again. And literally every NFL head coach has come out. Now maybe this year will be different, but every NFL head coach has come out and just been like, hey, we don't care about whatever advantage you're trying to give us. We're just going to start the drive because we have more faith that our quarterback's going to get us down the field than we're going to have a Devin Hester resurgence or a Cordero Patterson resurgence.
Like last year, you found out we can't stop guys from getting to the 30-yard line anyway, so just boot this thing out of bounds. Who cares? Rather than give up a potential for an explosive play, just boot this. And does 5 yards change it that much? Putting it at the 35-yard line for if you boot it out of bounds? Does it really change the calculus so much that coaches won't just do that if you're giving them, like, I just don't understand why they're trying so hard to do this. Kickoffs are a dangerous play. So they basically neutered them.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, we took the return out of the game and now we want it back. So here's this other way we can do it. How about you just accept football's dangerous and run the play as it was meant to be or get rid of it?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. The one thing I will say is I do think 35 changes it. I think it changes the aggressiveness of coaches like a Ben Johnson, like a Dan Campbell, especially when you take EPA per play into account. If I'm starting at the 35, I'm going for it. It's 15 yards to get to the 50. Once I get on the other side of the 50, the aggressiveness of the coach is going to change, especially for the more aggressive coaches. I think that would change how guys are trying to do it, but I do agree with you, right?
Yeah, but
if I'm not stopping you before the 35, it doesn't matter if you get it at the 35.
And you also don't get to choose where your drive starts. Your opponent gets to choose.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm Ben Johnson and my special teams unit, we're getting stops at the 32-yard line on average on these kick returns, well, I'm just going to boot it out of bounds and give you the extra 3 yards and save my guys the play.
Yeah. No, that is true. I would be fine moving on from the entire kickoff. I don't even know what it is at this point. Like all the new rules they've tried to add to make it more entertaining. I guess it was like, yeah, you saw the return, but we only talk about one guy in kickoffs, right? Like especially in Chicago, but like NFL wide, what are we talking about? 6 guys? Deion was special on NFL kickoffs. Cordero Patterson was one of those guys. Devin Hester was one of those guys. Like, it's not like we're talking about every team had that guy every single play that was returning kickoffs to the house. Teams weren't averaging 1 a year. Like, Devin was getting 15, and the rest of the league was getting scraps.
Yeah. I go to the Carmen and Yurko school. I'd get rid of kickers entirely. Go for every 4th down. We don't kick the football anymore. We punt, but that's it.
We got some interesting kickers in the a new kicker brought in during Rookie Minicamp.
Yeah, Cairo's in trouble. My guy, Jonathan Kim.
Cairo might be in trouble. Jonathan Kim's got a leg.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a leg. He's got some. We also got our second Aussie punter. They love Aussie punters up there.
Terrific. I'm so happy there's another punter.
You know, I put out the Eric Bieniemy video, and the first person to retweet it was Jeff Meller with a quote tweet saying, "Where's the Tory Taylor highlights?" I'm like, he's not even here. Like, relax, Jeff. It's okay. Another hot take that I did have coming out of this weekend that I thought was interesting, and this one kind of feels very Ozzy Trapilo-ish. Kyle Monangai not only is going to be a part of this rotation, he is going to be the steal of this draft.
Sure.
Kyle Monangai out there. Now, again, right, early drills, the thing that, to me, takes it to that level, he wasn't used as a receiver at all in college. Just wasn't used as a receiver. Every passing drill, he dropped one pass the entire time. Every passing drill, he was able to bring the ball in. He's got good bursts. I think people look at the 4.6 and they're like, oh, he's a slow player. I think he's quick. Gets out of the backfield, runs his routes well. Excellent route runner from what we saw. Again, nobody trying to knock him off of his route, but I think he's going to be somebody who is not only going to be useful for the Bears this season, but is going to be competing for that starting job by the end of camp.
I've said all along I think he could take DeAndre Swift's job. He was great at Rutgers as a back. He is a little slower, but when you play slow, that doesn't kill you in the NFL. It just means you have to do different things. You have to have better vision. You have to hit the holes that open up. You got to keep your balance. You got to run a little stronger. And I think Monangai can do all those things. He did it at Rutgers. I watched it a lot. I loved him at Rutgers. And it's not like seventh-round running backs are never hitting in the NFL. Look at Isaiah Pacheco.
See, I think that's the tough part about it, though, right? Isaiah Pacheco is good. Isaiah Pacheco should be on an NFL team. That's how I feel about Isaiah Pacheco. I feel like his movements are more activity over accomplishment. He runs really hard, and you're like, oh, look at him go, and then you're like, he got 6 yards in it.
Yeah, but Monangai would be no different. And Pacheco's a starting running back on a
championship
Super
team.
Bowl
He won a
level
Super Bowl,
team.
yeah.
So it just, yeah, I think that's totally possible.
It's going to be interesting.
Whether or not he's the steal of the draft, I have a hard time. You're a running back and a 7th-round pick. Like, I don't think anyone looks at Pacheco and goes, he was the steal of the draft.
Well, I think that's the difference. I think Kyle Monangai being overlooked as long as he was, he's a good running back. I also think he comes in behind what could be, and according to PFF, if everybody was on this team last year, now it's got to gel. We know how the PFF O-line numbers go. But according to PFF, with how everybody graded out, even with Braxton Jones in there, it would have been the second best offensive line in football. If that does end up playing out, you could run behind it. You know what I mean? You got 5 guys in here that are really good at the run. I think because of the situation that he's in, it's going to be more beneficial for him. But if he wins this starting job early on, which, I'm sorry, guys, it seems like at every turn they're trying to replace DeAndre Swift. I know the Swifties are out there. I know the Jonesers are out there. You got the Swifties and the Jonesers just going to bat for Braxton Jones and DeAndre Swift at every turn. The Bears tell you they love you to their face, and then they actively try to replace them every chance they get.
Yep.
They're trying to replace him. I think that Kyle Monangai not only could be somebody who is in the mix in that running back room, but could be the lead back by the time we get to the start of the season.
I don't hate it at all. Could absolutely happen. He's a good player.
He's a good player. I think there's a lot that comes from that. My final one, appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Ben Johnson is the genius we think he is. And I don't mean just as an offensive coordinator.
You got this out of rookie camp?
I'll tell you why. You would expect and I've seen now 2 new head coaches coming out of camps and stuff like that. You would expect to see a coach who's trying to be as hands-on as possible, trying to control it, trying to prove this is my camp. I'm here. You couldn't find Ben Johnson at camp. He's smart enough to know, let the coaches I hired be the coaches I hired. Usually that ends up turning guys into a good group, especially when you've got good pieces in place. You've added Dennis Allen. You've added Eric Bieniemy. You've added Darren Shaw. You've added all these pieces. Al Harris. He's letting his coaches coach, and he's not trying to interfere with them. But we literally spent all of rookie camp, Shea, going, where's Ben? He's out there. He's got a regular hat on. He's got his Bears hoodie, Bears sweats, blows the whistle when they're doing 7-on-7. Outside of that, he's letting these guys that we have said are the reason he's going to be great. And that I'm excited about.
Wonderful. I got to tell you, man, the hot take stuff out of rookie camp is killing me. Because I don't take anything out of rookie camp.
That's what a hot takes. These are sizzling right now.
I know, but my rookie camp hot take is if it didn't exist, it would change nothing about the way I approach this season. If you vaporized the whole weekend, had it just completely go away, it would change nothing about the way I feel. I think Ben Johnson is the genius that we think he is because I've watched his offenses in Detroit. I don't know what he's going to be as a head coach. I have no doubt he is an offensive mastermind.
Yes.
But a head coach is a different thing. And whatever happens at rookie minicamp when they're breaking in guys, many of whom will not make the team.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, a lot of the guys up there were UDFAs who may or may not receive an invite to actual training camp. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's tough for me because I am typically what you were doing. I'm the hot take guy. I want to have an opinion. I want to feel a way about everything. I can't do it with rookie minicamp. I'm going to get myself in trouble. And I'm trying to be respectful to you, but I do feel like there's a little bit of the Kool-Aid drinking happening in here today.
Oh, no, not at all.
You spent a weekend at Halas Hall, and then you're coming in a little blue chewed up.
Listen. I got a bear claw going for you. I got a bear claw going for you.
You spent a weekend at Halas, and it moved your denim a little bit, and now you're extra excited in here on a Monday trying to drum up some real storylines and hot takes from rookie minicamp. And I haven't been here long enough to feel this way. I know that people who grew up here, grew up with this team breaking your hearts. After 5 years of living here and dealing with this team, I am refusing to get out over my skis again. I'm refusing to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm refusing to get on the hype train. And Kyle Monangai is to steal the draft. I sure hope so. Ben Johnson's the genius we think he is. I hope so. But I'm not going to do the authoritative deal and tell you.
Well, I
know what they have to accomplish.
Yes. I think here's the thing, too,
what
though,
they will.
Shea. If all of these things are true, that still is probably a 9-win season. Like, think about the
I don't
jump
know about
that
that.
realistically is.
You know
You're
what?
going from 5 wins to 9 wins. That's a lot in the NFL. I can be excited. I can feel a little bear clawed up, and I can still go. But I also know how football works. And you know who you're not playing this year? The AFC South. Have you seen the numbers that the NFC North put up against the AFC South?
Yeah.
Bears included?
Yeah.
Like, it basically was, here's your head, here's the curb. We're going to stomp that into the curb quite a bit. And this is going to be your season here. I still feel like there's a lot of good things going on here. Yeah, I'm excited by some of the things I saw early on because I feel like it confirms stuff that we were hoping was going to happen. The only thing that I really am taking out of this that really has me excited is how Ben Johnson handled the coaches, because I think that's the one that's going to be the most long-standing.
Sure.
No matter what. Like, players come, players go. We can be excited about. I'm excited about Kyle Monangai. I would expect in 3 years we're talking about replacing Kyle Monangai. Like, that's how the running back position works in the NFL. The big thing
If he makes the team, by the way. I know it's 7th-round running backs hit, and this could happen, but he could just as easily get cut.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If that's a hot take, he's making the team.
Right.
He's making the team. And it's funny because, like, when you watch him, you would expect a 7th-round guy and a UDFA to kind of be close. Right? The 7th-round guy's like, all right, this is a guy we're going to take a chance. Kyle Monangai looks like he shouldn't have been there. Like, he looks like he should have been there. You know what I mean? Like,
Eric, I'm telling you, the Kool-Aid this guy took sips of over the weekend.
Kyle Monangai looks like he shouldn't be there. He looks like he shouldn't be there, dog. I'm telling you.
Did Halas look like Jonestown?
I'll tell you this. If there's any Kool-Aid there's no sugar in it right now. This is
decaf only coffee.
This is the white aunties. They put Kool-Aid in the sugar. They put sugar in the Kool-Aid packet. It's that kind of Kool-Aid right now.
I'd love to be as excited as you are about rookie minicamp. I'm not getting hurt again. I'm not, because everything you said, then you say it could be a 9-win team. You said Ozzy Trapilo is a starting left tackle who will make the draft look like a complete win. You said Kyle Monangai is the steal of the draft.
I'm there.
You said Ben Johnson's a genius.
Yep.
You said Eric Bieniemy will succeed enough to get head coaching looks again.
Yep.
If all of that is true, this is a 14-win team. That's the level of Kool-Aid you're at.
Here's my thing, though. I don't think that's how the NFL works. And maybe that's just how I think.
I agree.
I don't think that's how the NFL works. I think you can be great. Like, you can have a great coaching staff, great players, and things still don't work out perfectly for you. And you will be a 9-win team.
9 wins feels a little aggressive the other way.
Too low, you think?
Like, if you're great and things don't work out, you probably win about 11 games. If you're good and things don't work out, you're in the 8-9
but how many
range.
great teams do we see that are 10-win teams in history?
Oh, the Chiefs did it like 2 years ago.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, like I think great can be a 9 to 10 win team easily because football is hard. And especially with what the Bears are going to be dealing with here, we'll see how the schedule plays out this coming Wednesday. But what the Bears are going to be dealing with this year, I guarantee you there's a stretch that we're going to look at when that schedule's released and we go, oof, he better be good.
Yeah. Well, you play more road games than home games this year, and the schedule's brutal.
Like,
it's brutal.
I don't think it's too much of a stretch for us to say we feel like we've got the right team coming out of this year, and that is a 9-win team.
It's fine. Yeah. I have to see what the schedule looks like.
Yeah.
You're going to play Dallas. You're going to play the Eagles. I don't know what the 49ers are going to be, if they're good or not. You will play Washington.
Feels like they'll bounce back just off of 49er history. You not vibing with that?
I don't know about all that.
You think the fall off is imminent?
No, they lost Aaron Banks. They lost Trent Williams. That really damages what they can do up front. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. Defensively, they're getting a little long in the tooth. Brock Purdy's going to have to get paid. You just made George Kittle the highest paid tight end in football. He's 32 years old.
Yep.
We'll see. I'm not ready to write them off, but I'm also not ready to be like, yeah, it'll be back to what they've been. No, dude, the Rams are awesome. I think that division could be really difficult.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The Rams are. Did you see this clip yesterday of the money counter? While did you see that, Eric? They have dollars going up as Sean McVay is doing the pre-team meeting. And it's literally just all the players on the team. It's like Devontae Adams is making like $15 a minute, basically, that he's in there.
Jesus.
It is hilarious to see. But then the whole clip is literally just like, we love Devontae as a person, but let me show you this play right here. Look at that. I love that. But he's a great guy. But also, let me show you this play right here. It was one of those things where it was like, oh yeah, Devontae Adams did go over there. Oh, they may be a Super Bowl team again.
I tried to tell people 2 months ago. I thought the Rams were the best bet on the board if you wanted to take an early bet on who'd win the Super Bowl.
What was the line for that?
It was 30-1 when I gave it out. I don't think you're getting that now.
Probably not. Was DT signed already?
No.
Oh, you're definitely not getting that now. Hey, man, let us know your hot takes from Rookie Minicamp. Everybody's got a think piece that has come out. Again, these are hot takes. That doesn't mean it's what it's going to happen. They're hot takes. Calm down, Shay. 9 wins. 9 wins, baby. Shay's like Patrick 14.
I'm not doing a win total, brother. I think you're going to end up at 17-0 by the time we're done here.
I always end up at 17 when the schedule comes out. You know why? Because I can always find a way. I can always find a way.
God bless you.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For Shea Norling, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there in Chicago. Bed down. One love.